So I've just watched *Malignant*. Now it's not the best movie that I've ever seen. However, it is a really, really good movie. I've seen a lot of James Bond movies. His best by far is still Saw, but this is pretty much the best horror that I'd say he's done in a very long time. Now I have seen the CDs as well, but I couldn't help but laugh most of the way through that. It's just something in that movie that just tickles me and that I just find humorous. Don't get me wrong, it's a good movie. It is a good movie, and it deserves its place in like pop culture and stuff like that. But in no way is it like the best horror movie in the world. The Conjuring was much better. It's far superior in every single way imaginable. Um, so when I watched the trailer for this, I was expecting to be watching a movie where a woman would fall asleep and basically she would dream of a serial killer whilst he was killing the victims, and then basically she would have to um, like lock into that, if that makes sense. Now, the setup for the movie itself, it starts off quite eerily with well, a very sudden death, basically, and then from there it carries on in its eeriness, and it is quite scary. But then you get to the halfway point, and the movie kind of completely changes tone. It becomes more of an action movie. It even has a chase scene. Whilst the chase scene is pretty good, and in its own right, it does some creepy elements and stuff like that, it doesn't quite have the same fear factor. You just, it just doesn't feel like a horror movie anymore. It feels more like the good guys trying to take down the bad guy, and all the kind of the supernatural prowess and the stuff like that. It's just basically gone in favor of more of an action kind of horror movie. One of the things I did actually quite like in the movie was the victims' interactions with Gabriel. That's what they dub the killer, basically. Um, that's really, really cool, and it's a really interesting element. It's kind of a twist at the end, which I saw coming because I've watched so many horror movies at this point. It's just something that I would know, and not. I don't think the general audience would be able to guess what the twist was. However, yeah, I could. But this. So let's talk about the whole third act and the ending itself. If you haven't seen the movie and you don't want any spoilers, don't watch the video from this point onwards because we're going to go balls deep in spoilers. So after you find out that basically Gabriel is the parasitic brother of the sister, and basically he hijacks the protagonist's body, it kind of, as I said, it undoes the magic that it kind of had. Now, it was a really cool scene basically in the jail cell where basically he takes over the body and then he just obliterates everyone. I mean, no one's safe. He literally goes whole hog. There's like 10 people in there and he's literally just like it's cool. It's cool. It's a very cool scene. And then basically after he gets out of the jail cell and then basically you have the final confrontation with all the individuals, and then basically the cop is trying to stop him. Gabriel's sister is trying to stop him, and of course, her sister, adopted sister, tries to stop him as well. Now, the ending itself basically leaves itself to interpretation because it has Gabriel's ending and then it has the sister's ending. Of course, they're both very different in nature because in Gabriel's ending, he kills, whereas in the sister's ending, he already lives. And then it just kind of pans onto this light and it's kind of flickering. And throughout the movie, basically, Gabriel's thing is if the power is out, he is the one in control. So I did like the ending, but it's one of those ones that um, it's not a clever way of leaving it to the viewer's interpretation. Whereas something like Total Recall is clever because you have the ending and then it pans to white. And a lot of people um, basically think because when you wake up from a dream, everything goes right, white. So basically, that's them interpreting it was all a dream. Whereas personally, I don't think it was a dream, and I think all those events just happened. As crazy as they were, that's how I view Total Recall. Whereas with this movie, you have the two endings, and you kind of like, okay, well, I can choose between the two, but I don't really want to choose between the two, if that makes sense, because It's like giving an alternative ending, but in the movie itself, you watch both. It's just really weird. It was just really weirdly done, and I'm not too sure. I think it kind of dampens the movie a bit.